So everyone can see the size clear, the slides clearly, right? Very cool. So for the daily practices, it's actually a little bit more complicated, and it is separated into 5 or 6 groups. So the signage, PPE, lab emergency preparations, fire safety, electrical safety, chemical safety, and the operation of fume hoods and biosafety cabinets. So first, for the signage in lab, briefly, there are 5 things that we need to take care of. So first one, we need to be responsible for the room hazardous sign. It needs to be updated and posted at the entrance of the lab. Also, the emergency response guide needs to be posted near the entrance. The chemical abbreviation sheet, I know not a lot of people are familiar with that, but I have created a Google Doc of the chemical abbreviation sheet, and we need to like update them frequently and also post them into on the, for example, on the biosafety cabinet or the fume hood, or whenever you feel it they may be necessary. So the clean areas, including the trash bins, need to be labeled. Of the clean area sign, and the freezers and refrigerators in our lab that is storing the chemicals need to have the hazardous area label. So those labels are already on their places, but if we need new labels, you can always go to the links here and print the new ones. So next one is about the personal protective equipment. I don't want to talk about that too much because everyone should already know, are very familiar with that. Lab coats, gloves, and safety glasses. Just saying that for when they are doing the administrative audition, please make sure that you guys are wearing the safety glasses. I'm not making it mandate for our daily life, but just make sure that you guys know what to do when they are having an audit. Okay, clear? Cool. So next one is the lab emergency preparations. For the emergency preparation, there are actually 6 items. So the first one is the evacuation procedure and assembly location. So the assembly location is the stone bear on the Warren Mall. I think everyone is familiar with that. The next one is to report the work-related injury or exposures. So luckily, we don't have any work-related injuries so far, but if it went, just in case if it happened, please refer back to this slide and take the actions that is needed. Third one is the eye wash and emergency shower. So except for knowing the location and the operation procedure of the eye wash and emergency shower stations, we also need to notice that we need to maintain the clearance around the stations, and we need to check if they are clotted. It is actually the department's responsibility to check the shower stations monthly, but if you have any questions like Richard did last time, feel free to contact them or let me know so that we can get them prepared. Okay, the third one, I think, yeah, the third one is the first aid kits. So we have the responsibility to obtain and restock the first aid kits. So if you used any of the items in the first aid kit, please let me know so that I can fill out the online form and require a new one. The chemical spill kits. So also knowing the location of that and how to handle the chemical spills. I have the link here and also a short video of how to deal with biohazard spills. And it's the same as the first aid kit. If you use any of them, please let me know so that I can buy them back from the UCSD chemical stockroom. The last one, the last lab emergency preparation is also kind of the most annoying one is the earthquake prevention actions. So for this one, there are many regulations. Be sure to read them, and especially notice that we need to double train the gas cylinders, tether the freezers, and no items higher than 42 inches should be stored without secure. Okay. So next section is the fire safety. No, we never talked about that, but for fire safety, first it is we need to keep the ASOs and corridors free from obstructions, and also the lab doors closed. For the fire extinguishers, it is my responsibility to check it monthly. And also for the fire alarm bells, it must not to be obstructed, and also the storage clearance should be 16 inches from the ceiling. So next one is the electrical safety. Shortly, the electrical panels should be free from obstructions, and no outlet adapters should be used. And next one is the chemical safety, and it is also the most complicated one in our daily practice. So for the basic requirements, except for knowing the SDS and the online SOPs, we also need to label our storage cabinets by compatibility groups. For example, the corrosives, carcinogens, flammables. I know we already did a great job in our lab in the bioengineering hall, but we also need to do that in our new lab. And another thing need to be noticed about the chemical safety is the containers. So the containers first need to be chemically compatible, and second, it needs to be closed when not using. And sometimes some chemicals require a secondary container. So please be notice of that. So about which chemicals specifically need a secondary container. So here I've made a list of the chemical groups. They are classified by their chemical compatibility. So I want to stress here is that you can see that I have made a parenthesis with the double here. It means like these chemical groups, for example, the oxidizing mineral acid and the non-oxidizing mineral acids, organic acids, and liquid oxidizers, those groups need to be contained in a double container, which means besides their original container, they also need to be inside, for example, a plastic tray or others, just in case if they are, if the primary container is leaking and it might mix with other hazardous chemicals. And also another thing that need to be noticed here is do not store this chemical, the chemicals that are not in their compatibility groups together. For example, the oxidizing mineral acids cannot be stored with organic acids. That means I've seen a lot of times that our lab store the sulfuric acid with acetic acid together, and they should never be staying together, and they should be in separate secondary containers. So for exactly how to treat those, how to store those chemicals, I've made detailed instructions here. So if whenever you have questions, you can refer back to those slides or let me know. Okay. And the last two items is the operation of fume hoods and the biosafety cabinets. So our department and also our operators of the fume hoods, they are responsible to let me know that whenever we need the fume hoods and biosafety cabinets to be serviced annually. But sometimes when the fume hood or the biosafety cabinets are not working properly, for example, the monitor is not working, please definitely contact the EH&S department or the providers to get them fixed. And another important thing is to keep the fume hoods and biosafety cabinets free of clusters, and also keep the sash closed when you are not using them. Yes. And the last thing is that the lab self-audit. So by UCSD rule, we need to perform a lab self-audit semi-annually, and also a department lab safety audit annually. When we need to perform the lab self-audit, we need to use the area safety officer, which is me right now, need to use the lab self-audit form to check if any of the items need to be corrected. And also I've linked the chemical hygiene plan and laboratory safety manual here. If you have questions that I've not addressed in these slides, you are welcome to check to the UCSD website or connect Kenneth or Douglas. Yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Do you have any questions about these basic rules of lab operation?
I have one thing or two things to add. From the last audit, when I was like completing the audit with the inspector, he mentioned that we can only use that paper box, the biohazard paper box, to collect the pipette waste or waste tubes and stuff, and we need to maintain it closed all the time.
Oh yes, exactly.
So,
yeah, I forgot to add that one too.
So even if you are not using that thing, you need to close it. And all the waste bins in our lab is open by that time, so it's a pretty huge finding. And the second thing is not important, but all the flammable cabinets need to have the thing to close itself, which we will fix it later, but it's not important. Yeah, but it's still a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Tianyang. Like closing the pipettes, tips, containers is a huge finding in our lab audit. So I know it is a little bit not convenient to just close it every time, but at least make sure you do that before the audit. Okay, yeah. Does anyone have any other things to add? Or if anyone have any questions? If not, I've already uploaded these 2 slides to our shared Google Drive. And if you have questions, you're welcome to either refer back to those slides or go to the links. I've added all the reference links of the UCSD websites at the bottom of each slide. So you can also check the UCSD website for that, or you can email Kenneth or Douglas if you have more questions. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Xue. I would want to add a comment that how clear this presentation is, how elegant. It's this is just most pleasant opportunity for me to hear about the same material. Many of you have seen this. There are videos for you. There are alternative ways that you have access to similar information. But this is just such the most pleasant experience for me, such that I understand how much work, Xue you have put into this, such that you can deliver it in such a aesthetic, elegant way. I really wanted to add my appreciation to the diligence and really will put your heart into this. At the same time, that being part of our lab, that we should feel proud that we put heart into this. Every one of us, we should be proud that we just care about our safety. We just promote we just dare and willing to spend more time to really think about this, just to improve a little bit in our daily practice. Yeah, so this makes us proud. I wanted to ask if this is some shared sentiment. That do you feel this way?
Yeah, I also want to thank Richard, Aina, and Jinchen, especially the ones who are using the cell culture rooms. Like, they really did great in maintaining all the biohazard waste, which actually I haven't been doing that for a long time. So yeah.